Dead
3,
slow.
2, 1.
Oh!
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Never Growing Up kitchen.
Today we are going to be making the Jack Jack Num Num cookies from Disney's Hollywood Studios. Disney and Pixar actually released the recipe onto Instagram just this past week, so we thought we'd follow that and see what we can rustle up in our kitchen. Disclaimer, this is our second attempt at doing this video.
Yeah, so we've adjusted to try and make sure the heat is right. We have the right pans and whatnot, just to make sure that we get it right and teach you how to do it properly so you don't make the mistake that we did.
Exactly, you ended up with a little bit of darkness on the bottom of some of ours. So yes. Second attempt, we hope it's going to go really well and that you can follow along if you want to make these cookies too.
Absolutely. So let's get started. So first off, in order to do this the right way, I always split my cooking into two parts. One is the prep and one is the cooking. In this case, we are going to put all our ingredients together, separate them into different little bowls or mugs, cups, however you want to do it. It saves a lot of time and makes everything accessible when you need them. So here's what we're working with today. 2 sticks of butter, 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar with a teaspoon of sea salt and a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 egg, 1 extra egg yolk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 1/4 cup of flour, and 1 cup of chocolate chip.
So the next thing we're going to do is make some brown butter, right?
Yeah, so one thing with butter, you really want this to be room temperature. So when you're gonna make this, maybe the night before or that morning, take the 2 sticks of butter out of the refrigerator and let it just sit until it gets to room temperature, nice and soft. And what we're gonna do is actually create brown butter. Do this first as well. If you can do this ahead of time, amazing, because this is the one that needs to be made and then cooled down. So I have a small pot, my 2 sticks of butter. I'm gonna cut this up into little pieces. That way it's easier for it to melt. And we'll just leave that there. So butter actually burns easily when you're creating brown butter. What you want to do is melt the butter down, get it into about a boil, and then lower down the heat so that it doesn't burn. This takes about 7-ish minutes before it starts to brown. You'll actually smell a nutty flavor, but prior to that it'll smell like popcorn. So just keep an eye on it. It'll get dark, you'll see bubbles, the fat or foam on top will build. Don't worry about that. It shouldn't overflow unless you have it on really high heat. So just let it do its own thing. For right now, it's already melted and you already see the fat and the foams starting to build up. It's gonna do that. Grab a little spatula if you have one and just kind of mix it together. But once the butter melts, I just leave it alone and let it do its own thing.
And what kind of butter did we use? It's just regular unsalted?
Regular unsalted butter. Clarified butter actually works better when you're making brown butter, just because you won't have to worry about that fat rising to the top.
You'd be able to see the color underneath this layer. Got it.
But in our case, because the recipe did call for 2 sticks of butter, regular butter, I'd use that just because I feel that the fat is a big part of making the flavors that comes into these cookies.
Isn't that always the way?
Yeah, it is. But you never know. If you do have the clarified butter, absolutely use it. I don't think that should be a problem.
This is coming to a boil now.
Yes. One thing you don't want is to have the bottom burn. So really, once it's starting to get to about this point, you're gonna lower down the heat and we'll let it do its own thing. It should be okay. It'll be about another 5 or so minutes before we start to see the color to start getting darker.
I'm smelling that caramelly butterness.
Yeah, so you see the little foam up top. If you just move it, you can see that the butter is actually getting darker.
Oh yeah, it's like a golden brown.
Yeah, it's a golden brown butter. So I'm gonna give it maybe another 30 seconds or so, and I'm just gonna take it off the heat and let it cool. But you are already smelling that nutty smell. It's a good indication that the butter is almost ready, or if not ready. So you see it's gotten darker.
Oh yeah.
It's actually the bottom of the pan is really dark, so it gives it that darker color, but it's not too bad.
And you'll be left with a bit of sediment, right, as well?
Yes, in the bottom. You want to avoid pouring that into your mixture later. So my suggestion is to transfer it to a separate bowl. You don't want to pour that into your cookies later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have this bowl. For now, I'll pour it in here and let it cool on its own. Oop. Yeah, you want to avoid pouring that in there. So.
And just be careful when you pour that because it gets super hot, doesn't it?
Very, very hot. Make sure an adult is with you if you are doing this, and just pour it very slowly. I did a little bit too quickly there, but
gets the job done.
it gets the job.
Yeah, and to cool it even quicker, you can use the water bath technique, which we did yesterday, and we'll insert a little clip here so you can see what that looks like.
Yes. And you're trying to get it to start solidifying, that's when it's ready. So right now, I'll just let it do its own thing, and I'm gonna do the rest of the prep.
So the butter's about all chilled.
Now we're gonna add the sugar, the salt, and the baking soda into this. Make sure we're gonna create a buttercream.
Oh.
This is the salt, the white granulated sugar, and the baking soda is also in here. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna mix it.
Ooh, that's really smelling caramelly now.
Yeah.
So brown sugar is next. Gonna add that to the mix.
Yep. So we're gonna give it a good mix until it starts to become like a whip. If you have one of those proper mixers, absolutely use that. I'm gonna do this by hand, and then I will pour it over and add the rest of the ingredients afterwards. Once this is whipped, I'm gonna transfer it to the mixer, add the egg yolk, and mix that in a bit, and then into the dry ingredients.
The batter's going into the mixer.
So it was taking a long time to actually be in that whipped consistency. So I poured it into the mixer and let it mix into a more whipped consistency.
So the first ingredient we're adding to the batter is the 1 egg with an extra egg yolk.
Yep, 1 egg and extra yolk.
Into the mixer. Give it a little mix. And mix it up. So time to mix in the dry ingredients. So first of all, the flour. Maybe we'll add this in 2 parts.
Yeah, I'm gonna split it in half. I have a smaller mixer. If you have one of the bigger mixers, you're more than welcome to put all of them down, but in my case, I'm gonna do it in 2 parts. And I did forget to add the vanilla extract. So
Ah,
I'll just add that
now disclaimer, we weren't able to get vanilla extract, so we have gone for a little bit of almond extract as a replacement. No big deal, it might just mean that our cookies are a little bit more nutty and almondy, but we're gonna work with what we've got.
So we had a little malfunction with my mixer. So I ended up changing it to the bigger mixer. We have everything in there, all the dry products minus the chocolate chip. I'm just getting it pulled so that it's starting to clump up as a dough. It's clumping up now. Now I'm gonna grab the chocolate chip.
There you go.
Thank you. It looks less than what?
What?
It looks less than what's supposed to be in there.
Don't know what that would be.
I just put a little bit in. A little pulse. So that dough looks about right. What I'll do is I'll put it in a bigger bowl, mix it up, and then just start creating my cookies.
Ooh, cookie dough. Is this the point at which I can taste or lick the spoon?
No, there's raw eggs in there. Don't taste it. Cookie dough is really not good for you. I know a lot of people like to eat raw cookie dough. It's not good for you. Did you just eat the cookie dough? I told you not to eat. Alright, I'm gonna transfer this into a bowl. Let's see.
Excuse sirens in the background.
Welcome to New York City.
Ooh, that looks so good.
Yeah, so if you need to knead it,
right,
just make sure your hands are clean.
So that's just to, what, like fully incorporate the dry ingredients?
Exactly. You see some raw ingredients in there, especially because you don't have a proper mixer. Just, you know, use your hands. It's okay to get a little bit dirty.
That's why John's doing it and I'm not. Ooh, that's a good looking cookie dough.
Yeah. So this is gonna make for one giant cookie dough. Just kidding.
You know, I can smell the almond extract.
Yeah, me too.
It smells nutty.
Smells really good. Next, we're gonna grab our pan.
So once again, we learnt this yesterday. Put on parchment or wax paper, anything to stop it from sticking and to provide a little bit of a cover between the cookie and the pan.
Exactly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make 6 giant cookies instead of the little ones.
Yeah, well the Jack Jack Num Nums are pretty huge.
Yeah, they're pretty big. So in the diagram, this specific one that Pixar put it had 6 in one tray. So why not have 6 cookies?
Absolutely.
So what I'm gonna do is now break it apart and make 6 even portions. The best way to do that, get the whole thing, cut it in an even half, and then cut it into thirds. 1, 2. Then we're gonna roll it. Roll it.
These are gonna be huge.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be nice and chunky.
And with this recipe, or at least with the one that we made before, what you're going for is like a crunchy exterior and then like a soft cake almost texture inside, right?
Yeah, that's what we got the first time we created these cookies. So we're gonna try and get the same without less burn. We want to separate them a good amount. In this case, this might, because they are quite big, they might go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them into 2 different pans.
Oh, okay. So we got our other pan.
Yeah, got the other pan. If you have cookie cutters, I suggest you can use them to kind of shape them equally. So I did there, so they're nice and evenly rounded.
Look at these, these are huge.
They're gonna be nice and huge. What I'm gonna do is add some extra chocolate chips on top so that you have that nice.
Oh my
chocolate.
gosh. You know what I'm thinking? These will be lovely cut in half with some ice cream.
Alright, so we're gonna put these in the freezer for about an hour, and then we're gonna pop it in the oven. Come back to you in an hour.
Wow, what do we have here? We have some slightly frozen, chilled cookie dough.
Yeah, so I turned on the oven 20 minutes ago, nice and ready. These have been in the freezer for 1 hour, and now it's time to cook them. The recipe calls for 7 to 10 minutes. I'll go into the 7-minute, check it, and then go from there. For now, let's pop these in the oven. Because our oven is a little bit off, I'll rotate in about 3 to 4 minutes in.
Awesome.
350 degrees. Now we wait. I think these are ready, but let's do the check.
Do the knife test.
Yep.
The knife test, you just poke it with a knife. If some of the batter comes out on the knife, then it's not quite cooked all the way through yet. The knife came out clear, so we should be good to go. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. These look so yummy.
Yeah, we gotta let them cool off though.
They look so delicious.
Yeah. And that took about 13 minutes based on the size. So if you're making the normal size, use a 7 to 10 minute window. In our case, 7 minutes in, it wasn't even closed yet, so definitely.
Are you excited?
Oh yeah.
These look good. How are they looking?
Nice. I think they're nice and moist in the middle.
Let's see the color of the bottom.
It's perfect.
Oh yeah. They look great. Okay. It's a big old cookie. Let's get a little cross section of that.
Alright, ready?
Ready. Do it
3,
slow.
2, 1.
Oh, yumminess. Gonna give it a try.
So good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mmm. It has the same consistency as yesterday. Like it's really cakey and doughy in the middle. But there's more chocolate chips, so it's more chocolatey. And also more dense, which adds to that cake-like texture.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really good.
The almond taste is more discreet today, which I appreciate. Nice crunch on the outside. Yeah, this is good. And there's like a slightly sweet to salty taste as well. There's a bit of saltiness on the tongue.
Yeah.
As an aftertaste. It's just delicious. Success.
Yeah.
So that is about it from us and from our Jack Jack Num Num cookies. We have left all of the details for the recipe in the description below, and you can also find it on Pixar's Instagram if you want to try and make these for yourself. We highly recommend it. These are delicious, and we are very excited to get stuck into some of these.
Just not gonna last long.
I can tell you that much. But until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. All of our links are below, and we will see you real soon. Bye for now, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I forgot something.
What did you forget?
That.
We have a little bit of a dark underside on a couple of them.
Oh no.
We'll just pretend that didn't happen.
Feed me. Feed me. Oh. Nom nom nom. Oh. Nom 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 nom. So hungry.